So most people think that being a YouTuber is the absolute dream life. You get to post some videos, get some views, get paid to review products that you probably would have bought anyways, and you get to sit back and relax and watch the passive income come in. And while that sounds like the life, honestly, it's not. It might not look like it, but I've actually been a full-time influencer with my wife. I've done vlogging and brand deals and sponsorships and AdSense and affiliate marketing. I've even created our own physical product to be able to launch with our YouTube channel. I've had to record my food, looking at it get cold before being able to eat it just for the video. And I know it sounds like I'm complaining because we were making 20K months on brand deals and sponsorships and affiliate marketing. And to a lot of my friends, it looked like we were YouTube celebrities. And on paper, while it looks cool, there's just so much wrong with it that people don't know about. The truth is that being a YouTuber might be the worst business model that I have ever done. And while it looks like you're an entrepreneur and you run a business, it's actually a huge mess that's built on a foundation of glass that's ready to crumble at any time. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you exactly why being a YouTuber in 2025 is one of the worst business models you can possibly do. And if you're looking to make YouTube work a long time for you, your family, and hit your goals and live the lifestyle that you want, what you should be doing instead. Real quick, if we haven't met yet, my name is Doug, and my wife Haley and I actually run a 7-figure online business leveraging YouTube, where we help other creators to be able to grow their income and grow their audience while selling their own products without feeling shady or sketchy or car salesman-like. And what this does is lets them and us basically be able to live the life that we want to. We have time freedom, we have location freedom, we can do all the fun hobbies that we want. Like I like to race cars in my off time, we get to homeschool our kids, we get to see them without having to work 40, 50, 60 hours a week. And so if you want to do cool things with your life while enjoying it, but still making really good money, and you want to be able to build some kind of wealth for yourself, then be sure to like the video, hit subscribe, and let's go ahead and jump into the first point, which is all about brand deals. Brand deals are often pitched as like the dream way to be able to make money on YouTube. You get to talk about products that you love and you get paid for it. But in reality, this might be the worst way to make money on YouTube. I say this as the guy who's literally been paid to eat top ramen on camera. I've been paid to eat food. I've been paid to play tennis. I've been paid to wear clothes. I've flipped burgers in the air, and I've even played really janky mobile games as a way to be able to make money through sponsorships. But here's what happens when you put brand deals and sponsorships as the primary way that you make money through your YouTube channel. The first thing is that the money is just absolutely inconsistent. Sometimes you might land 2, 3, or 4 deals in a month, and other times you might get 0. Some of them might pay you $1,000, and some of them might pay you based off of a percentage or only give you an affiliate link, or at worst, just give you that product for free. And a lot of times there's even like outside factors that come into play when it comes to brand deals and sponsorships. Like I said earlier, my wife and I, we were full-time influencers. We were making 20K a month through sponsors. And that all came to a crazy, screeching, terrible halt when things like COVID happened. Okay, when COVID happened, no brands and really nobody really knew what was going to be happening in the world. So there was no real marketing budget for brands to be able to spend on us. There was also BLM and other political things that were happening. And that absolutely shut down brands from wanting to be able to do any kind of sponsorships or have budget to be able to put behind people's videos. And that was like all of our money. And really what happened was we almost went down to 0 during those periods of time. And not only do brands dictate how much they're paying or when they're paying or who they're paying, when they actually decide to work with you and to pay you, they also dictate how your video is made. They'll tell you what to say and how to say it and how often to say it, what shots to include, how long it needs to be. I mean, I've had to sit there and film myself chopping the same bell pepper over and over and over again. And there was even a time when we didn't boil these noodles correctly, and I had to go back to the store and buy these noodles and dress myself as the same as I did the week before because the brand didn't like it, which is another issue, is that a brand can approve or disapprove of the content that you've made, and you have to refilm and refilm and refilm. So not only do brands have control on those things, like what your content looks like, if you need to do it again, it wasn't really up to their standards, but they also get to dictate when you get paid. Okay, it's not just how much you get paid or how you get paid or the stipulations to get paid, it's also when you get paid. So if you've ever done a brand deal or sponsorship, you've probably heard the terms like net 30, net 60, or even worse, net 90. And so what that means is that brands will pay you 30, 60, or 90 days after you've posted the video. I don't know how brands would really expect people to kind of budget or to work with that or to figure out how they're going to pay bills in the meantime. But sometimes you can get a really bad run of brand deals or sponsorships if you're so blessed to be able to work with them. Obviously, I sound like I'm absolutely complaining here, but I'm not. These are just the downsides. And I promise I have an answer for you after this, okay? I'm not just going to complain for no reason. But brands can push out when they pay you, which is extremely annoying. And finally, one of the worst things that can happen when it comes to brand deals and sponsorships is that you get paid via average views, right? You get paid by RPM, or like your revenue per mil. It's how much they're going to pay you per 1,000 views. And so if your last 3 videos decided to tank and you decided to not have a very good run of videos, brands are going to use that against you, and they're probably going to offer you $35 and a Chili's gift card. So even if you have a solid brand and you have really good videos and your videos are super quality, if you're not getting the views, if you're not pitching in the correct way, working with sponsors is basically just like working for a bunch of little bosses. You're not really in charge of your own content. You're not in charge of your own business. You're kind of just like a marketing team for other companies. So instead of building your content around what brands will want or how sponsors are going to pay you or how you can get the most views so you can have the highest RPM or so you can include whatever weird Amazon product you're being sent that day, what you should be doing is you should be building your content around giving value. And so what I mean by that is you should actually be trying to solve a problem for someone. When you're trying to actually solve a problem for someone, they're going to get value out of it. You're going to be able to help transform their life in some way. You're not just going to pitch them a product that they could potentially buy and maybe go into more debt or waste their money on. But instead, maybe you should take it up one more level and actually say, hey, I'm going to sell them my own product because I know the value that's in there. I know how life-changing it can be, and I'm able to create my own content that really seamlessly pushes that product that I am trying to sell them, whether that's a course or coaching program or PDF or guide or whatever it might be. Because when you do that, then you control the offer, you control the delivery, you control the price point, you control when you get paid. And the best part is that every single piece of content that you own can point back to that one product. You'd have one piece of content that points to a robot vacuum, and then you have one that points to a mobile game, and then you have another one that points to like a cooking set or something like that. This is how you actually get off the content freelancer hamster wheel. Okay, this is how you actually become a true entrepreneur. The number one complaint that all of the big influencers that we've ever worked with have had is that they are too locked into brand deals and sponsorships. And a lot of them that I'll put on the screen here, they had similar instances during COVID when brands and sponsors were pulling out and they were cutting their budget and they were losing all of their money too. Now, don't get me wrong, like having brands and sponsorships and like, affiliate links that are set up and relationships with these companies, it's really good to be able to have, but the last thing you want to do is 100% rely on them. The second reason why being a YouTuber is a terrible business model is because of the everlasting need to be able to chase views. Everyone tells you that you need more views. More views means getting monetized, means a bigger AdSense check, means bigger sponsors and brand deals. But what no one talks about is what it actually takes to get those views and at what cost it takes to be able to get those views. You might start tweaking your thumbnails to be a little bit more dramatic, to be a little bit more negative. Or maybe your titles are gonna start sounding more like, BuzzFeed, or they're very clickbaity. Maybe you start scripting your content and your day around content that is going to go more viral rather than something that might help people or something that your audience might actually want to see. Or at worst, maybe you're gonna go start chasing trends, or your kids end up getting lost in a water park, which is absolutely one of my favorite examples that I always bring up to people when they say, how far do you go for views? And when you don't get the views that you're looking for, you start to doubt yourself. And you don't just start to doubt yourself, but you start to think to yourself, maybe my life isn't as interesting as it should be. What can I do to step up my life? Do I need to move? Do I need to get into an RV? Do I need to rearrange or redecorate my house? Do I need to change my life? Do I need to shave my head? What do I need to do to get more views? Eventually you'll force ideas and you'll start pushing out videos that you don't really want to push out. And then you're going to lose sight of your brand and your entire mission for your YouTube channel. Then you might get a video that gets a lot of views, but then you go back down and it just starts getting even more into the pits of despair and you end up burning out. And this is a very typical routine that we see a lot of creators go through. And the one thing that we tell them that changes absolutely everything is that you need to stop chasing views and you need to start chasing value. Like I said a little bit earlier, if you create content that solves a problem for people, then what you can actually do is offer them to be able to buy something to help solve that problem. Then what happens is you don't go from having 500 views or only 500 views, you go to having 500 potential buyers. Now, 500 potential qualified warm leads is a lot more valuable than 5,000 or even 50,000 unqualified random people views. When you start to build your content around value, you move away from vanity metrics. And then all of a sudden, you're not begging for attention from the algorithm. You're not chasing views. You're not making thumbnails that kind of make you feel, ugh, but you're still gonna put it up anyways because you need a higher click-through rate. What happens is that when you solve problems for people, when you give value, you actually earn their trust. And trust is a missing component in today's algorithm, okay? It's kind of like the unknown algorithm metric that exists. Most people look at things like click-through rate, or they're gonna look at things like watch time, but something that's missing and that's just not able to be measured is trust. And trust goes way farther than any other vanity metric. When you start talking about values and building trust, and when you actually stick behind like some kind of truth in your content, you're actually trying to help people, there's two things that happens, okay? One is that you will actually end up going viral. I know it sounds really weird, but the less you try to actually go viral by being too crazy or weird or too wide or too clickbaity, the more you kind of tone it down to yourself and your own niche and your own problems and solutions that you're trying to provide, that's when you actually go viral. If you take a look at one of our students, her name's Ashley Bufa, she helps people with homeschooling. Not only does she just help people with homeschooling, but she just sits down and she just talks about her experiences, and she tries to actually genuinely help other homeschooling moms. She isn't vlogging, she isn't clickbaiting, she isn't chasing trends for views. In this video, she's actually just sitting there talking about her regrets from her 18 years of homeschooling, which is sheer 100% unadulterated value. This was her second video with us, and that actually led to her getting 70,000 views and eventually led to getting thousands of dollars in course sales. And we experienced the same thing too when we transitioned from a vlogging family type of channel, moving over to doing more business and actually giving value to things that would actually change people's lives. Haley actually kind of discovered this too when she started taking her content to go from more motherhood, like just, hey, here's how I feed my toddler, which is cool and which is actually very helpful, but to more, I guess, like serious topics, or to topics that hit a little bit harder at the heart. Now, all of that's great, being able to provide value to people and being able to figure out how to be able to monetize properly, but none of this actually matters at the end of the day, because you don't really own your content. You don't own the platform. So this is my third point as to why YouTube is a terrible business model, because you're building it on someone else's business model. You don't control the algorithm. You don't get to control who sees your content. You don't get to control how much you're paid, whether it's through AdSense or brand deals. All it's going to take is one strike, or one policy change, one demonetization, and your views and reach are gonna fall off faster than Rebecca Black. There's gonna be no warning, no appeal, no accountability, no, you don't get to talk to YouTube, you don't get to get in contact with somebody there. Only the people who are massive YouTubers who bring in YouTube millions of dollars get to actually talk to somebody at YouTube. And we know this because this actually happened to Haley's main channel. Okay, a long time ago when she was doing motherhood content, there was a period of time where any video that had a child in it, they turned the comments off of those videos. And so what that ended up doing was that drastically dropped viewership, that drastically dropped engagement, because you literally couldn't engage. And when those two things happened, brands said, hey, we don't really want to be caught up in any of this, and we don't really want to put money behind a channel that can't even get comments, so we're not going to give you guys any money. And that, again, tanked our income. It was kind of a blessing in disguise though, because that was actually one of the final straws that said, hey, we should probably figure out something else that we can do with YouTube, which led us to what we're doing today. And if you want to know the exact ins and outs of how this business is actually ran, down in the description below, you can go check out my free masterclass. I talk all about how we do it, what it is that we do, others that do the same thing, and how you can actually do it too. So be sure to check that out. Now, because you don't actually own the relationship with the viewer, like, yeah, you can comment back and forth, but that's about the extent of it. I can't reach out to them personally. I can't DM them. I can't give them any additional value besides talking in the comments. YouTube basically holds your audience hostage. Hopefully I don't get flagged for saying the word hostage or any other words that I use in this video, but you don't get their email, you don't get their contact info, nothing like that. It's all up to YouTube on whether they're going to push your video out to them. So the better way to do this is to actually just use YouTube as a marketing tool. You only want to be able to use it for traffic. You don't want to build everything upon how many subscribers or views you get. You want to actually build it on how many people you can bring to your own business. I know it sounds weird, but your channel, like where you post on YouTube, that is not your business. Your business lies elsewhere, which is with your website, which is with your funnels, with your email lists. YouTube is actually just how you introduce people to your brand. So what you should be thinking about is, how can I get every single piece of content to be able to push people off of YouTube and to be able to go somewhere else? Now, yes, we want them to watch our video. We want them to get a lot of value out of it. We need to be able to get a lot of watch time so that way we can eventually grow our channel. But in your content, you should have ways for people to be able to access you on another platform. Like I said, whether that's an opt-in or a lead magnet or a masterclass, you want them to go get that. Maybe you want to call out something that you're doing on Instagram. I know you don't really want to push it to another platform like that, but at least you can DM them and they can follow you there. You can send them to that, or better yet, you send them to your website. They can go click around, they can learn more about you, and again, get on your newsletter or grab your opt-in. Now back to that YouTuber that I mentioned earlier, Ashley. She actually worked with us to be able to create her opt-in, to be able to figure out how can I get people from YouTube eventually. I mean, she was doing all of this before she even went viral, right? She was setting up her opt-in, she was getting her forms ready, she was getting her warming sequence set up. And that first video that I actually showed you guys with the 70,000 views ended up leading to her getting 5,000 email subscribers, and eventually from those email subscribers, a 12K launch. And obviously she's not the only one. We teach all of our students how to be able to move people from YouTube to their own platform, to their own business, so that way they can control their audience. Because once you own that relationship, everything absolutely changes. You can reach out to them when you want, you can directly email them, you can launch offers, you can ask for feedback, and you can generate revenue without having to play guessing games. So let's move on to the fourth point as to why I think YouTube is the absolute worst business model in 2025. And that's because people think content creation is free until they learn about the true hidden cost of making content. Kind of like my dad and Haley's dad and probably everyone's dad in the entire world has ever said, nothing in the world is free, or nothing free is ever really free. And this is one of those things that absolutely just cannot be overlooked when it comes to making content on YouTube. Now, most people think that content creation is free, it's amazing, it's scalable. All you do is you make a video, you upload it, it gets views, it's passive income, and that's how it works. But what you don't see behind those viral videos, and what you don't see behind the person who's posting faithfully 2 to 3 times a week, leveraging all of the research that we teach them, or learning Haley's Golden Nugget method, what you don't actually see is all of the work behind the scenes. So what might actually happen is you have to vlog, you have to record yourself waking up. You're getting up at 5 a.m. before the kids get up so you can get some B-roll shots, or so maybe you can potentially do a talking head video. Maybe you have to get the house dirty so you can clean it for 2 hours in an extreme clean with me routine. Or maybe you decide to dedicate yourself to do daily vlogging every day for 30 days as a challenge, and now you're staying up till 2 or 3 in the morning recording yourself as you went out and ate in and out that day. The thing is, if you have a job, right? If you have a 9 to 5, you can't be creating content in a way that takes up all of your time. If you have kids to raise, if you want to homeschool, if you want to race cars, or if you want to get into any kind of other hobbies or passions, or live a life where you're not working 40, 50, 60 hours a week on top of the job you already have, the way that you make content is going to greatly impact that. You see, YouTube does reward consistency. It does reward constant uploads and really good content, but only if that content is strategic. So if you're finding that content is eating up all of your time, it's probably because you're creating the wrong type of content. You shouldn't be creating reactive content, or content that you're trying to do that you only need to have put up that day right then and there. No vlogs, no nothing that is very kind of like spur of the moment. Every single piece of content that you create needs to be strategic and build off of the last video. They all need to become bingeable content that people are going to want to watch over and over again. And the way that you do this is you solve evergreen, timeless problems. My dad used to say a long time ago when I was in college that I needed to be able to get into a company that is an industry that will never go away. And so for him, that was cars. That's what he worked in. I did end up eventually working with Toyota, which is really cool, but random side tangent. Anyways, you need to create videos that do the same thing. You need to create videos that will never go away. You need to create videos for problems that people have that they'll have for like the end of time, right? For forever. You don't want to post something that's going to die tomorrow. You want to post something that's going to be searched for 2, 3, 5 years from now. Every single video that you make should solve one problem for one person. And that's actually the same exact strategy that Haley uses. You see, if you go check out her channel, which I'll link up here and down in the description below and everywhere else, you'll see that every single one of Haley's videos solves a specific problem for a specific person. And the whole point of that is so that when people are looking up this problem, people will continue to watch it years from now. Just like this video where it was posted almost 3 years ago now, or maybe 2.5 years ago, and this video still gets views and still gets sales to this day. And so when the problems all converge onto one type of person, right? So like all of Haley's content, for instance, is built around YouTubers that are trying to grow their channel. And all of Ashley Buffa's content is around homeschoolers. When you do that, your content becomes bingeable. It's kind of like when people get onto Netflix and they just cannot stop watching a show. Okay, you need to have a bunch of content. You need to be like the One Piece of being on YouTube, which if you guys don't know, it's an anime. It has like 1,000 episodes. But you need to have 1,000 episodes or 1,000 videos of content that all point to the same person solving similar problems. When you do that, the videos that you've created in the past now continue to work for you. Therefore, you don't have to be posting so much and so often and all the time. You don't have to do 3, 4, 5 videos a week. You can back down to 1 or 2 a week and content that you're posting months or years ago will continue to still support you and drive sales. Now, for my last point, let's go back to monetization really quickly, because the way you make money on YouTube is absolutely broken. Everyone that you see talking about YouTube and how they make money, they always do videos that look like this, which is like how much YouTube paid me for 3,000 views or 40,000 views or 1,000,000 views, or how much I made in my first week of being monetized. And it's not just this, but they also talk about obviously AdSense or affiliate marketing and brand deals and sponsorships and even merch. Now, none of those things are as reliable as you might think. AdSense is obviously very YouTube dependent. If you're doing merch, congratulations, you're now customer support and you're packing a bunch of products. Sponsorships we've already talked about, and affiliate marketing. The affiliates can cut their commissions whenever they want. They can turn off the program whenever they want. And sometimes those tracking links don't even really work. Now, again, I sound like I'm complaining. I completely understand that I was blessed to be able to make money in all those different ways. We sold our own physical product, we did brand deals and sponsorships, we did affiliate marketing, we make a bunch of money in AdSense, but none of it is reliable. At some point, one of those income streams failed us. And not only is it not reliable, but it's not really scalable at volume. There's only so many videos you can make. There's only so many affiliate links that you can plug into your description, although I've seen a lot of affiliates put in descriptions. There's only so many sponsorships that you can do when you only put out 1 to 2 videos a week. And all of it really depends on how well your last video performed. That's not a business. That's just hoping that you make money. The better way to be able to make money through YouTube is you can leverage all of those, you can have all of those things, and you can still build wealth with those income streams. But the best way, in my opinion, is to have an evergreen funnel. Now, I know the idea of a funnel is going to confuse and kind of scare a lot of people, but a funnel is just a way to be able to take people from one point to another point. And in this instance, all you're going to do is you're going to take them from a YouTube video to a product that you're selling. Again, whether that's a course or a membership, a coaching program, mentorship, whatever it might be. And there's really only 4 things that you need to be able to make this happen. You need a lead magnet or an opt-in or a freebie or a masterclass, just like mine. You can go down and check out in the description below. After that, you need an email sequence that's sent to them that kind of reminds them to go through and buy the thing that you're offering if they haven't bought it yet. And then the third thing, obviously, is you need that thing to sell. When you have this set up, all you have to do is link it underneath your videos, down in the description, and it does all of the work for you. There's no relying on other people. They can't cut your percentage because you are the one that's setting how much your price is. And you're not physically having to pack and ship products like we were when we were doing our car seat covers. It's a digital product, so it's already readily available. Now, if you want to see how this works again, I have a link down in the description below, but you can also go check out our other students like Kiri, or Vikita, Lisa from Farmhouse on Boone. You can go check out Haley's videos. All of these YouTubers, really big influencers even with 700, 800,000 subscribers, they want to use this system that we've taught them because it makes them money while they don't have to actually physically do any extra work. What you do really is you just set it up once and you're done. I know that it sounds absolutely too good to be true, but if you really want the proof, again, I'll say it one last time. My masterclass talks all about how it works and the proof, and you can see all the different testimonials that we have in there of people who have actually used the system and how it actually works. So being a YouTuber sounds really cool, and it sounds like a lot of fun, and a lot of my friends wanted to be able to do it. And honestly, I think being a YouTuber was one of the most desired things that kids want to do nowadays. Like, they don't want to be firefighters anymore. They don't want to be police officers, not astronauts, YouTubers. And while that might sound really cool, being a traditional YouTuber doesn't really build freedom. Okay, it might make you some money, but in my opinion, you're still a slave to whatever platform it is you're on, whether it's YouTube or Instagram or really anything else. And this is coming from a guy who's talking to you through YouTube. So what you need to do instead is you need to be able to own your audience, you need to be able to own your own product, and you need to be able to use YouTube as a tool to drive traffic. So that's it for this video. If you have any thoughts or comments, leave them down in the description below. If you want to be able to build a life of freedom, time freedom, location freedom, you want to be able to talk about things that you like on YouTube and make money while you do it, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss another thing, and I will see you guys in the next one.